opinion. We got to call folk and ask them how they feel about it. What you think about this. It ain't what you think. It ain't how somebody thinks. It's what did God say. And what he says is the bottom line. What he says is foundation. That's what's, if we don't build our life and our faith upon what God has said in his word, then every time there's a storm in our life, every time there's a problem or a situation in our life, it will cause us to fall. I wish somebody could say amen. Let me ask you this. Watch this. What could be more important to the point where our minds are on it than God's goodness? I remember the song we sang years and years ago. I always talk like I'm old, don't I? It's because I grew up. I grew up in it. My soul looks back and wonder how I got over. Now watch this. If you spend time looking back how you got over, you ain't got time. Y'all missed that. When you think, see, the psalmist said this, when I think of his goodness and all that he's done for me. So you ain't got time for foolishness. You ain't got time for stuff. You ain't got time to hear what folk got to say. You ain't got time for seeds of discord. All you got on your mind is how good God is. So good. Yeah. When I mean so good, I'm talking so good. So I'm trying to get in the tendency that every time there's a problem, I think about his goodness, and it outweighs what I'm going through. God's goodness always is, oh my God. That's why I understand why Paul and Peter and all those, no matter when they were locked up, Paul was in jail, in prison. He wrote some of the best messages while he was locked up. You know why? Because he had an eternal perspective. In other words, he learned to live above his earthly problems. He never let what he was going through hinder where he was in God, because where he was in God always superseded where he was in the earth. Y'all not hearing me. And it brings me back to my little buddy friend. I may be standing in the corner, but in my mind, I'm sitting down. I might be going through hell and high water, but in my mind, I got peace. I might be broke, busted, and disgusted, but in my mind, I am the lender and not the borrower. I am what God says I am, no matter what my status is. You are what God says you are. That's why he said, I give you the ability to call those things that are not as though they were. You got to quit looking at where you are and just meditate on where God says you're going. Oh, y'all ain't responding like I want you to. Weeping